Hi guys, thank you for joining us for our kickboxing class this evening. Just before we begin, we want to take a few moments to make sure that everyone has a safe experience. So first, we acknowledge that everyone has different abilities and comfort level. So please feel free to adapt movements so that this class works for you. This class is an all levels class, which means our instructor is going to provide you with some options as we go. Tonight we have Justin, he's fabulous. And if at any point you feel like you need a break, go ahead and take some time. If this is your final time, first time doing an online dance or fitness class, please take it easy to start and remember to consider any injuries or pre-existing conditions that you may have. Secondly, please take a moment to make sure you have a safe setup around you. We want a clear space of about 2 meters to perform this class, and we want to make sure we consider any other people or furry friends that might get in our way during the class. And we're gonna let you play your own music for this one at home, although for this one, I don't think we need any music at all. And finally, remember that there are inherent risks involved with any type of physical activities. Remember to work at an intensity appropriate for your fitness level. As we go, remember you can chat and provide feedback to the instructor within the Zoom group chat. And most of all, remember to have some fun. Okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Justin.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Ferris, for that. And that's a great reminder, guys. If you find you're getting gassed in some of the movements, you can always take a break. You can always slow down, go at your own pace, and find what works for you. We're going to do basics, which, as she said, it's all levels. So if you have no martial arts experience, if you've never been in one of my classes or a kickboxing class before, it's totally fine. We're going to go over everything. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll spend some time that I'll come back and review that and see if we can go through everything that way. But other than that, even if you have tons of experience, you know that basics are always important to review and keep drilling. I always tell my students that in a sport combat scenario, basics are 80% of what you throw, and in a self-defense scenario, it should be 100% of what you throw. So this is always useful for everyone. So to start, we'll just get up. So have your cleared space. It doesn't have to be too big. I've just pushed my coffee table to the side here and made a temporary space, but we're just going to start with a warm-up. So we don't have much room to run around, but what I want you to do is adopt your fighting stance. So if you don't know this, imagine a square in front of you. Step your left foot, if you're right-handed, step your left foot to the front corner and your right foot to the back. If you're southpaw, just the opposite. So you're keeping your shoulders, your hips square, but your feet a little bit off center. You don't want to be right in line. Problem with that, you can get swept either way, so you want to keep a nice square base. And you're just going to keep on the balls of your feet and bounce back and forth. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to transition through a few different warm-up exercises. I want you to keep moving as much as you can and get that heart rate up a little bit. So we're bouncing back and forth on the balls of our feet, just getting set. You don't want to lean your shoulders too far. You want to keep it set down in your middle point. Okay, let's try some high knees. So you're going to bring your knees up. If you want a little added work, keep your hands at your face, at guard. This is something that people always drop. I continue to drop as you get tired as you're fighting. They get lower and lower. Try and keep those hands up. All right, nice work. Let's do the opposite. Let's kick at our butt. Just keeping moving, warming up. Good, back to our fighting stance. Okay, we're going to do our first warm-up technique. So this is a knee from Muay Thai. So the technique is you're going to cup your hands. You don't want to entwine your fingers, one hand over the other, and you're going to pull that to your hip. As you do so, lift your knee and move your hips forward. You want to spear your opponent on your knee, so you're not just raising your knee up, but you're moving forward. So let's do 10 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Back to our fighting stance. I know those are harder than they look. We'll just catch our breath, gather ourselves. We don't want to build an imbalance. So we're going to do the other side. 1, again, you want to spear your knee forward and bring those hands to your hip. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Back to our fighting stance. Okay, knees are great, but what's better than one knee is 2 knees. What we're going to do is we're going to throw doubles, and I'll show you the footwork to go through it. It's going to be a little bit getting used to it. It's okay if you kind of stumble through it a bit. You don't have to be perfect. I just ask that you try. And as you do it more, obviously, the motor pattern will get a little more ingrained and it'll become a lot easier. So the step is the same. You're going to throw the knee, but when you step back, I want you to place that foot down and transition your weight, step forward. So I'm placing my foot down, step, step, and again. 1, step, step, 2. Let's give that a try. 1, step, step, 2. 1, step, step, 2. 1, step, step, 2. 2 more. 1, step, step, 2. 1 more. 1, step, step, 2. Nice work, guys. Again, we want to imbalance ourselves. Let's try the other side. So again, you're going to spear that knee forward. As you drive your leg back, you're going to step that foot down and step again on the front, repositioning your weight back onto that front leg so that you can throw the knee again. 1, step, step, 2. 1, step, step, 2. 1, step, step, 2. 2 more. 1, step, step, 2. And last one. 1, step, step, 2. Back to our fighting stance. Nice work, guys. Okay, last for the warm-up, we're going to do some sprawling. So this is a kickboxing class. Technically in sport kickboxing, there's no takedowns, so you shouldn't have to sprawl. But it's a good complement to have in your general martial kit, and it's a great exercise. So when I say down, I want you to throw your hips as low to the ground as you can, like so, and then spring up as fast as you can. So we're in our fighting stance. When I say down, hips down, back up. Let's give that a try. Down. Down. Nice work, guys. Keep it up. Almost there. Down. 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 All right. Nice work, guys. If you have water handy, grab a quick drink of water, then join us. If you don't, it's probably good to have a glass of water or a bottle ready for you. So just take a few minutes. I'll check the chat, see if there's any particular questions, and then we'll come back and do some mobility just to get ourselves warmed up. Some water myself. Okay. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to have a little bit of a drink of water. We're just going to stand. We're going to start by loosening our neck. So we're going to look from side to side. Just slowly. No need to force too far. Just want to loosen everything up. We're going to do ear to shoulder. So side to side. ear to shoulder. And let's do some rolls. So roll forward. When you get to the opposite shoulder, instead of craning your neck back, just move straight over to the next shoulder. Roll and over to the next shoulder. Good. And let's go the opposite direction. Again, all of this can be done at your own pace. You'll advance on your own time, so there's no need to push yourself crazy hard. Going a little bit past your level of uncomfortability, that's okay. That's learning, but you should never have pain. If there is, definitely back way off, and we'll try and accommodate movements around that. Okay, let's roll our shoulders, so forward. And back. What I want you to try is hold your hands out straight in front of you. Try not to have your hands drop or your elbows bend, and just isolate that shoulder roll backwards, just moving those shoulders, and forwards. Nice. All right, let's swing our arms back. Make sure you have clearance behind you. Just rotating your arms backwards, loosening everything up. And forwards. One arm forward and one arm back. If you haven't done this before, it's a little tricky. One tip is to put them at the top and move one forward and one back, and they'll meet at that same point. Give that a try. And reverse direction. So now this arm's going to travel forward, my right arm's going to travel back, and meet at that same point above my head. All right. We're going to loosen our hips. So feet a little bit greater than shoulder width apart, and just a wide circle to the side, back, and all the way forward. This also makes for a great dance move. Maybe not a great dance move, it makes for a dance move. All right, let's go the other direction. Rotating that wide circle. Okay. Now feet together, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to draw that circle with our knees. Loosen up our knees. And the other direction. Good. Okay, last one. Rotate your ankles. One ankle and your wrists. Just loosen those up. Warm those joints up for the task at hand. And other side. Okay, so if you want, grab another quick drink, come back, we'll start in on technique. We're going to start with our jab. So basic punch, but eminently important for engaging, for defense, disrupting, finding your range, lots of things. So it can always be worked on. Just grab a quick drink, and we'll rejoin here. So the jab, follow through with me, but you're going to adopt your fighting stance. So again, you have that box in front of you, your left foot's in the top corner, your right foot's in the back corner. With our jab, we're not going to make a step, but we're going to throw our lead hand out. So for me, that's my left hand. If you're left-handed, this is going to be your right. And it's going to come straight out and straight back. So you're not cocking your arm up and coming over. You're not coming from your waist. It's going to come straight from guard. So you have one hand up here at your face, one hand right in front, and that's going to come straight out, straight back. What you want to do for this particular jab, you want to rotate your shoulder, kind of shrug it up to protect your face. And what that's going to do is if a punch comes over here, it's going to shank off my shoulder, and not deliver its force to the side of my head the way it would if my shoulder's down. So it's a little bit more of a defensive technique. You're going to keep that shoulder up. You're going to rotate your hand a little bit over. And where we want to punch is with these first two knuckles. We want to keep our fist as flat as we can. We don't want these weird kind of conformations of just squeezing as hard as we can. Try and keep it flat. And the reason you want to hit with the first two knuckles is because that transfers the force more directly into your strong bones as opposed to these, which don't. That comes at an angle. Very easy to break. It's called a boxer's fracture. So you always want to aim with those first two knuckles and turn your fist over at the last minute and tense up at the last minute. You don't want to be tense all the way through. So let's just try a few of those. We're in our fighting stance and just throw them out at your own pace. Throw that shoulder up, jab. Let's go again. Jab. Yep. Jab. Back to the face. Straight out, straight back. Side, straight out, straight back. Okay. Straight out, straight back. So let's throw 10 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, if there's any questions on the technique, feel free to put them in chat, and then we can kind of come to those and hopefully resolve things before we go too far. But I think that's good. Most people have the jab down. What you don't want to do and be cognizant of is leaning outside of your stance or being too far back. You want your center of gravity right between your feet. Okay, well, let's do our second punch then, and this is going to lead us into our first combo. But we have our jab. It's a lighter punch, not as much power behind it. Our cross is going to be our power strength. And the way it gets that power is by utilizing the entire mass of your body. So you don't want to just hit with your hand. Your arm doesn't have a lot of weight. You can't generate a lot of force. What you want to hit with is the entire weight of your body and just channel that through your hand. And how we do that is we rotate our hips, our trunk, our shoulders. Everything is going to turn over. I'm accomplishing this by pivoting my back foot. Super important for the cross. Pivot that back foot, pick it up, rotate everything through, and at the last moment, you're extending that arm. Punching the same spot, your first two knuckles, keeping a flat fist, and straight from guard to your opponent, and back. Pivot that back foot, rotate through, and back. So let's give that a try. Be sure to look at your heel. If it's not coming off the ground, you're not getting all the force you can into that punch. So let's do 10 of these. Cross. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So these two punches are going to serve as the basis of your striking. Before we get into a little bit more cardio with this, we'll introduce one more. Now this one's a little bit trickier, and the main thing to think about is, again, you don't want to swing your arm per se with this one, as you want to move your body. So just like on the cross, we rotated our rear foot as we rotated everything across, our hips, trunk, shoulders. The hook, we're going to rotate our lead foot and shift all of our weight back onto our back leg. So as we're doing this, we want to hold our arm out at 90 degrees. You can have your fist up like this. This is how I do a hook. Some people turn it over. Both are viable. So you're going to want to have your arm at 90 degrees and rotate. You're basically just hitting them. If you just hold the arm out there, and let's do this. We'll just hold our arm out at 90 degrees and just rotate back and forth. That's going to be all the power in your hook. Big swing like this is going to get you less than you think. So again, in our fighting stance, we're loaded up. This is going to be after a cross, so our weight's going to be here. And we're going to pivot that weight back. And as we do, open up that hook and connect with your opponent. So from the side, it's going to look like this. I'm pivoting, and as I do, I open up. I'm not too wide. There are long hooks. It's not going to be this technique. And I'm not too short. I'm not too bent at about 90 degrees. All right. So pivot, open. After you're done your technique, every time you execute a technique, your hand comes back to guard. Hook, back into guard. Hook, back into guard. Let's do 10 of these. So 1, remember that pivot and back. 2, back. 3, back. 4. Remember, this doesn't have to be a big wild swing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, nice work. So we have the technique down. Now we're going to try and tire ourselves out with it. So what we're going to do is a round. Fighting is always conducted, sport combat anyway, in rounds of variable lengths. So the BC Kickboxing Commission recommends 2-minute rounds. 3-minute rounds is very common. Some competitions will have 1-minute rounds or shorter times like that. We're going to do a 3-minute round. And what I want from you guys is I want you to do any of these punches. So we have our jab, we have our cross, and we have our hook. Just doing them in order like that is fine. You'll notice that once you pivot over with your cross, that's putting you in good position to pivot back on the hook. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to do this for 3 minutes. It's going to get quite tiring. Things I want you to think about are the pivoting on your legs. That's very important. And try to imagine an opponent in front of you. You don't want to be throwing my jab here, my cross here, my hook out here. Imagine that you have an opponent in front of you so that your strikes are landing in the same spot. So I'm going to set the round timer for 3 minutes. I'll let you know when we've got it halfway through. 3 minutes never seemed so long as when you're doing rounds. And normally we would do multiple of these, but I think for today we'll stop after this one and catch our breath and then go into some more techniques. So 3 minutes, we can start now. So jab, cross, hook. You can move a little. Jab, cross, hook. Move a little more, keep your hands up, keep in your fighting stance that we started with. Jab, cross, hook. Nice work, guys, keep it up. All right. If you want to move your head a little, you can. If you want to enter with a 2, you can mix it up. If you're uncomfortable mixing and matching, just stick with jab, cross, hook. It's a great combo. 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3, nice work. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep it up, guys. How to be. All right, that's a minute down, guys. 2 minutes to go. Nice work. Almost there. Remember to keep those pivots, moving your weight back and forth as you transfer that force through your fists. Halfway there, guys. Nice work. Keep it up. Jab, cross, hook. Nice job, guys. Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. 1 minute left. Get those last few combos in. Remember to breathe. Breathing's important. "30 seconds, guys. Let's go." "10 seconds. Last few. Get them in. Jab, cross, hook. Jab, cross, hook. And that's time. All right, nice work, guys. Grab a quick drink of water. Catch your breath. If you find you're having a stitch, putting your arms behind your head, it's going to open up your chest, open up the ability for your diaphragm, as much movement as possible, get as much air as deep as you can. So we'll give a few minutes for everyone to collect themselves, grab a water if you have one. If you don't, feel free to go and get a bottle or a glass. That's nice work. Those rounds are tough. Again, 3 minutes never seems so long, but it's a great way to really build that cardiovascular endurance, to really last out the rounds in sport combat or just for general health. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to give a bit of a preview of other things that we can do. I don't think we're going to do more rounds. We're going to maybe leave it at that. But just with these 3 punches that we have, there's different combinations. So entering on our 2, we can do that by taking a bit of a step up. So remember our pivot, which is important. You can tie that to a bit of a step and enter on your 2, 3, 2. So we did our 1, 3, 2. You could enter on that 2 and throw off your opponent. You can start with a 3, 2, 3 and throw off your opponent. You can mix and match the timings on these. You could do a 3, fake a shot, another 3, or body, head. So just because it's simple doesn't mean it can't be used and leveraged in a variety of manners. You can come from different angles, you can come with different timing, but these 3 punches and the uppercut are 90% of hand combat. Okay, so we're going to take a break from that. We've worked our hands a lot. Let's try and get into some kicks. Again, kickboxing, usually kicks are what get people excited. So the first one that we're going to do is actually a little unorthodox. It's not a movement that's familiar for a lot of people. So a lot of people are very comfortable with push kicks, just kicking straight, or the roundhouse kick. And we'll get into that. But this kick that I want to start with is a side kick. So it's a kick that comes straight out like a piston and has kind of that linear attack quality. It's very common in Taekwondo. It's getting more prevalent in mixed martial arts. Sanda or Sancho fighters, who are Chinese kickboxers, they use it a lot. So it's really coming into play, 1, for its speed, and 2, because it uses your posterior chain. And these are some of the largest muscles in your body, the largest muscles. So the power that you can generate with this kick is incredible. So what I want people to do is, if you have a space on your wall, go and place your hand on it, just to give yourself balance. If you don't have anywhere that you can grab, that's okay. You can do this in the air. It's going to be a little more difficult and tax your balance a little bit. But what I want us to do is we're going to raise our leg up. We're going to bring our knee to the opposite shoulder. And I want to keep my foot facing at my opponent. I don't want to drop it down. Then I'm going to kick out. So this kick again is like a stomp. If you think of stomping on the ground, it's that same motion, but think about stomping a little bit to the side, a little bit more to the side, how about straight across? It's that in-out piston. I don't want to come up and flick the knee. That's not what this is. I'm ratcheting that knee to my chest and firing straight out. So grab a piece of wall, have your foot pointed towards it, raise your leg, and what I want you to try is to not have your leg drop until we've done 20 kicks. This will be quite difficult, especially if you've never done this kick before. It's going to be odd feeling. You're going to have some burning in your glutes. If you do have to drop your leg, that's fine. Just bring it back up and rejoin us when you can. So we're going to do 25. So we'll count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I assume you're feeling that in the glutes. That's okay. That's normal. They get bigger. And 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Almost there, guys. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, let's shake that out a little bit. I know that's always a rough one. Again, if you have some water, feel free to take a drink. And not wanting to build imbalances, what we're going to do is work the other side. So I'm going to do it from the side here, just to show you how that looks from this angle. But again, find a piece of wall, put the other hand on that wall, just to give yourself a little bit more balance. Point your toes at it, raise your foot, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's keep going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 5 more, almost there, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, nice kick, guys. Again, shake out those burning glutes, those tired hips, and grab a quick drink of water. Now again, this kick, it's going to feel odd, and most people don't like it because of that. It's not an intuitive movement. But because of that, it has so much room for improvement on most students who hate this kick. Just because they don't have the recruitment, they don't have the neural coordination built in. So the gains that you'll see in power from this kick is just, it'll go up exponentially as you start training it. Okay. Well, that's great for the side kick. That's my plug there. I like to get people doing different things, but most people, when they think of kickboxing, when they think of Muay Thai, they think of the roundhouse. So we're going to work on that. And what we're going to do is, we don't have pads, obviously. If you have roommates, do not kick them. But we're just going to hold this kick through the air. It's called the 7-point drill. So there's 7 steps that we're going to move through. And as we do, I want you to try and hold the step as long as you can. Again, if you lose your balance, if you have to set your foot down, that's fine. Just rejoin us whenever you're able to, at whatever step we're at, and continue to work through the drill. So we'll go through the steps. The first one is just a pivot. I'm just going to pivot this front foot. Sometimes it's accompanied with a bit of a step, but what I want is to open up this leg. So that's step 1. Step 2, I'm going to bring my knee up. So I have my knee up, feet pointed or up. There's kind of merit to both It's really not going to matter once you're doing this kick with speed. So knee up, that's 2. 3, and this is one of the most important steps for the power in your kick. You're going to want to rotate your hips over. So a lot of people, when they kick, when they do a roundhouse, they kick like this. So your leg is swinging up, but your hips are remaining square. And just like our punch, how we wanted to rotate our hips, our trunk, our shoulders around to apply more mass against forces, mass times acceleration. So we wanted more mass behind our hip to get more force. Same thing with our kick. If we're just swinging our leg has a lot of big muscles, you'll probably get some power in it. But if I rotate my hips over, my entire body has now turned, and I'm going to get a lot more power through this kick. So very important step. We're at 2. 3 is going to be rotating our hips over. I'm leading kind of with an open pelvis here. So the top of my quad is facing where I'm going to kick. My rear leg or left leg here is pointing almost backwards. Step 4, I'm going to extend my kick. And then we're going to reverse it. So step 5, I'm retracting. Step 6, I'm back up with my knee. And step 7, I'm returning to my fighting stance. Again, this is going to challenge your equilibrium, your sense of balance, but try and work through it. I'm going to call out the numbers. Try not to transition to the next step until the number's been called. So 1, here's that pivot. 2, knee up. 3, rotate that hip over. 4, extend that foot. 5, retract. 6, and 7, back to our fighting stance. Nice work, guys. Let's give that another go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, last one here, guys. 1, 2. Last one's got to be the hardest. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Nice job, guys. I know that's hard. Let's try the other side. So this is going to be the same thing, but I'm not going to have you switch stance. You're going to keep your same stance. So the only difference is step 1, instead of a pivot, is you're just going to step across. You're going to step and bring that leg forward. So it's going to look something like this. 1, 2, same thing from here on out. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Back to our fighting stance. So let's give that a try. 1, step across. 2, knee up. 3, turn that hip over. Very important. 4, extend the kick. 5, retract. 6, and 7. Back to your fighting stance. All right, again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Last one, guys. Nice work. 1, 2. Try and hold it as best you can. Build that balance. 3, turn that hip over. Some people counter rotate their arm all the way down. I try to keep mine up in my opponent's face. Both are viable techniques. 4, extend the kick. 5, retract. 6, and 7. All right, nice work, guys. Take a quick break. Grab some water if you need. And we'll get into the final conditioning of the class. Yeah, hip mobility. We had a comment on that. Hip mobility is really important. And mobility in general is something that people often overlook. Lots of people build strength, which is great, but functional mobility really helps you apply that strength from different angles and different moments. So basically what I've given you in this class, guys, we've set up the beginning of a repertoire of a kit that you're able to pull from. So we have 3 hand strikes, the jab, the cross, and the hook. And we have 2 kicks, both the side kick and the roundhouse. And you can apply these together in kind of a mix and match, build your own combo type way. So if there's a desire for more of these kind of classes, obviously we can start to build more advanced ways of stringing them together. But most often, it's that kind of back and forth movement that we have. That pivoting, I'm putting my weight forward, pivoting again, I'm bringing it back. So if my weight's back, I could throw a kick. I could throw a punch. If my weight's forward, I could come with the hook. I could return back and come in with the side kick. These are just the basics. Again, with practice and repetition, you'll build up ability with them. Famous Bruce Lee quote, "Fear not the man who has practiced 1,000 kicks once, but fear the man who has practiced 1 kick 1,000 times." 1,000 times comes quicker than you think, so we'll get there. But for now, we're just going to do a little bit of cardio, finish up the class, and then some cool down stretching and wrist mobility exercises. So for the cardio, what we're going to do is a reverse pyramid. So basically, we're going to start at high numbers and we're going to gradually work our way down. I'm going to do the burpee, the squat, and a sit-up. Now, burpees, again, you're going to want to jump, put your feet out. If you want a little bit more, you can do the full push-up from the burpee. If you're not able to do the push-up, that's fine. Kick your feet out, get to the plank position, and back up. So that is 1. 2, that's what we're looking for. Squat, we just want our feet, shoulder feet apart, shoulder length apart. Our knees, we want to track over our feet, so we don't want our knees bending in, leaving a pocket for us to sink down into. We're going to push through our heels and raise ourselves up. So that's going to be the squat. And the sit-up is everyone's favorite common core exercise, just all the way up. So we're going to start with 10. We're then going to do 5, 3, and 1. If you want to do it faster, that's going to be harder. If you want to take some breaks in between each exercise, that's going to give you a little bit of a break to catch your breath. Follow your own body. Of course, you don't want to get yourself in a position where you're in trouble. So let's just go through this. We're going to start with the burpees. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice work, guys. Almost there. 7. Of course, the first is going to be the hardest. 8, because it's the most. 9 and 10. Nice work, guys. So next is the squat. So once you finish up your burpees, again, if you're still working through them, that's okay. Go at your own pace and make sure you finish those. We're going to go into the squat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Nice work. Again, I'll give a minute just for people to finish up, but we're going to go into the sit-ups. So again, the hardest of the batch. They're going to get easier after this because they're going to progressively half, but 10 sit-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right on, nice work. So now we're gonna take a step down in the pyramid. We're gonna half it, so that same thing, but 5 of each. So the burpees. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice work, guys. A few moments for people to finish up. Again, if we're advancing too fast for you, feel free to continue your burpees, even if I've moved on to the squats. So the squats now, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice work. On our back for the sit-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're gonna half it again. You can't kind of do half a rep, so 3. Let's always round up. 3 burpees. 1, 2, 3. Nice work, guys. Moving on to the squats. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And back into the sit-ups. 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, half of 3, 1.5. We'll round up. 2 burpees. 1 and 2. Into the squats. 1, 2. On our backs. Sit-ups. 1, 2. Last one, single thing of each. So 1 burpee. Nice work. 1 squat. Nice work. And 1 sit-up. Nice work, guys. That's it for all the cardio work. Grab a drink of water, catch your breath, and we'll just cool down with some wrist exercises. Of course, punching in the air doesn't apply as much pressure, but punching a pad, punching an opponent puts a lot of pressure on the wrist. So we're just going to do some exercises that are going to improve your ability to have force applied through your wrist. I'll give everyone a second or two longer. That's nice work, guys. I don't know about you. I found it difficult to navigate quarantine and still exercise the way I would like. So, you know, a big hour-long exercise push like this is a shock to the body. But, you know, you did great. Thanks for coming. Be sure to drink lots of water, maybe even stretch out before bed, prevent some of that soreness that'll come on. So let's just cool down. Just place your wrists on the ground. Now, the amount of force that's going to be on them is depending on how close your knees are to your wrists. So if your knees are completely off the ground, there's obviously a lot of force. If your knees are close to your hands, there's little. So you're just going to want to find a spot that's comfortable for you and just rock forward and back on your wrists. If you can take a little bit more, you can move your knees further back. Just rock forward and back. We're going to turn our hands out. Typically, people can take a little less force this way, so if you need to move your knees up, it's totally fine. Rock side to side. Just getting used to having force transferred through our wrists. And rotate them as far back as you can. Again, this one, usually even less force can be applied. So if you need to move your knees up, that's totally fine. Keep your arms straight and just rock back and forth. If you start to experience pain, bring your knees up and move less distance. Again, a little discomfort's okay, pain's not. So we'll build up to that point. There's no need to push yourself too hard. Going back to forward, we'll then turn inside, rocking side to side. And counter-rotating as much as we can to point back towards ourselves, keeping our elbows straight. And we'll rock forward and back. Okay. As you get more comfortable with these, you can do the wrists face up as well, the same positions. But I think we'll leave that for today. I think we've done a lot of good work here. So I know Feroz has a little bit of an outro just to gain some feedback and everything, but thanks so much, guys, for all your effort, for attending the class, and hopefully you had fun.
Okay, thank you so much, Justin. Solid workout. Thank you and everyone for joining us today. We can stick around for another 5 minutes just to collect everyone's feedback. If you have something to say, like tell us what you want to see on Zoom next time. Tell us if you want more of this class. Otherwise, don't forget to join us back on Zoom next Monday at noon for another one of Hane's yoga and Pilates classes. Justin, you did amazing. Megan Lee said, awesome, thank you. I had a lot of fun watching you. It was exhausting. Guys, don't forget to follow UBC Rec on social media, Instagram, and follow our Get Active at Home page. Otherwise, have an amazing weekend. And Morgan Carlos also says, love the Spider-Man t-shirt. We all do. And it kept her motivated. E says, thanks, Justin. More of these classes, please. Great intro. We will absolutely do more. Don't worry about that. Okay, any last words, Justin?
No, just thanks again. Remember, guys, drink that water, stretch it out if you're sore. Try to maybe go for a little walk, keeping socially distant and everything. But thanks again for all your hard work.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.